Alright guys, we've made some huge changes to the game room that I wanted to showcase for you guys. You guys love these videos, so I'll keep them coming as long as you like them. Very briefly, let's just go over what we have here. We have 2 Magic the Gathering posters from Universes Beyond of 2 franchises that I really like. And there's actually a Final Fantasy set coming out this summer that I actually already reserved the poster for my LGS. That's gonna go right there, smack dab in the middle, right above Final Fantasy VII playing right now. But this is actually a new PC. I got this last month. I work from home here. I play all my modern games on this, and it's a pretty cool setup. I'm not a huge computer guy, so I'm not sure all the specs and stuff people love. I actually just had one of my friends that likes to build computers help me with it. And then please do not mind my cable management. I have never been good at that in my life. But let's get to what I'm sure you guys really want to see is the bulk of the collection, really. And then I'll show you guys where I actually play these games, because as you notice, there's not a TV, there's nothing for me to actually play the games on. That's in a separate room that I will show you. But let's start with up here. We actually have some cool collector items. This is a brand new addition to my collection, and I am over the moon about getting it. It's a standee. It's about 20 years old from Golden Sun Lost Age for Gameboy Advance. I walked into a retro game store I hadn't been to in my area before. I was just like in the mall looking to get some shoes. Sorry, I just put it on the shelf, you can see it. I was in the mall trying to get some shoes, and I walked by and I was like, oh, there's a store in the mall that has retro video games. So I walk in and they had this standee there. And so I kind of scratched my head and I was like, hey man, is there any chance you would sell me that? He was like, yeah, sure, how about 60 bucks? And I was like, deal, easiest 60 bucks ever. That thing's awesome. I can't find anything similar online, but if I could get more of those other games, that would be so sick. Another new addition is this Hob sealed toy from the Fable 2 release. This thing is just super cool. You guys know Fable is one of my favorite franchises, and so that was really cool to pick up and actually pretty cheap. Behind it, we have my Ocarina of Time figures you guys know about. The Switch Bayonetta collection, I just love the Bayonetta games. And then the Remember Me art book, you guys know I am also in love with that game. All right, so for the actual shelf, we go by game alphabetically, but up top is all Xbox 360. You guys know I'm a huge 360 nerd. 360 is what I really grew up on, so that's where the bulk of my games come from. And you can see behind, I have a lot of books and guides and whatnot. I'll get to those a little bit later. I've been collecting a lot of those recently and I quite like them, but we'll touch on that after we look at the games. We'll just go a quick overview. As you can see, we've added a lot. The only real notable ones I want to note is the entire Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. I'm very excited to play those. Like I said, I've been really into Final Fantasy lately. It's kind of a new franchise for me personally, but I've absolutely been loving it. And then we move on to the second row. During the Steam summer sale, I did get things like Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Witcher 3. So I got these so that I could play the first ones before I move on to the sequels to those, as well as Space Marine. This is actually cool because I had a friend who is really into Warhammer and doesn't have a 360 anymore, but he had this game. So he was able to give it to me, and I still haven't played through it yet, but I want to try it and then see if I want to play the second one. Moving on from the 360, we go on to the Xbox collection. I don't think since my last video I've actually picked up any original Xbox games. I'm not huge on the original Xbox. I just got some gems here, especially this one. I mean, I've already talked about Magic this video. This game is so unique and so cool. I found it at a game store for about 20 bucks. Sorry, I just jumbled all my words and wanted to cut it out. This game is awesome. If you have the chance to try it, try it. I really recommend it. Moving on from the Xbox, we do have the Wii section. I'm also not huge on Wii. You'll notice there's Dragon Blade Chronicles, which I did a video on, including in one of the worst games I've ever played videos, because that game is not great. As much as I love Naruto, I'm a huge Naruto guy, that game fell short. The Kirby collection, I love Kirby. I'll get to that a little bit when we talk about the NES games. And then we have the GameCube collection. I love the GameCube. The GameCube and the Xbox 360 are the 2 things I really grew up on. We have some of my favorites like Ultimate Muscle, Legends vs. New Generation, and Custom Robo, Mega Man X, Command Mission. Those games are awesome. It really pains me that they're all so freaking expensive, man. This game is one of the more expensive games in my collection, and it's just so niche and it's so bizarre, but I want everybody to be able to experience it. But it's so expensive. If you can emulate this, man, I tell you, try it. This game is so much fun. The Ultimate Muscle franchise is just so bizarre and so funny, you'll find yourself falling in love with it. Moving down here, we have the awesome Game Boy Advance collection. This is something that has been built out a lot since my last video. This past year, I've kind of really been on a GBA kick. Much like the Xbox and the GameCube, the GBA is something I grew up on, mainly on the SP here. this isn't my original one. This is one that actually my friend gave me a couple years back. And then I have my modded Game Boy, which I did a whole video on. It's actually the most viewed video on my channel. You guys loved it. So check that out if you haven't. I actually have some more things in that realm coming this way, which will be cool. You'll see I have most of my games complete in box. These actually go too deep just to save on some space, and now I'm messing up the whole thing. Yeah, and I have a little Pez candy here that was like a stocking gift for my wife on Christmas because she loves Animal Crossing, and I just found that in a grocery store, and then she wanted it to be displayed, so I put it here. Then you'll see I have a lot of guides here. I have a lot of guides, actually a couple Nintendo Power too. Like I was talking about the guides. This one is for the Minish Cap. Then we have Wind Waker, Super Smash Bros, Halo 2, some other stuff up there. I love the guides recently. They're so sick. They're super cheap to pick up, and they're really helpful and fun and nostalgic, you know, nostalgic of a time before you could just Google literally everything. When I played through Minish Cap most recently, I used this thing. It's so much more fun than just firing up Google and being like, ah, crap, what am I supposed to do? And you just look it up in the book, and it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend those. And like I said, you can get them for super cheap. Like, I want to say I got this for like less than 10 bucks. Love that. It's like a new thing in my collecting philosophy is finding those that I really like. Moving down here to the NES games, I have not picked up an NES game in like a year and a half. I've been just like not thrilled with NES ever since I really built out the collection up here. I find it hard pressed for me to want to fire up the NES. You'll see I actually have it down there kind of in the console graveyard because I do play my GameCube games on my Wii, and then the NES I just actually don't have space for the CRTV. I'll open the closet here. My poor CRTV is just sitting there because it is too big to put anywhere usable right now. So if I want to play NES, I'm gonna have to figure out something else, but I haven't done that yet. So that's pretty sad. You can see my 3 favorite games there. You know, I do love Tetris, I do love Kirby, and I do love the original Legend of Zelda, but I do rather play these games, at least for right now, than those. And here's where I actually play my games, just in my living room. We have the TV set up with the Switch that me and my wife play all the time, but then also down here in this cabinet that's a little unorganized is the Xbox and the Wii where I play my games. If you guys remember a couple years back, my game room actually had a TV above my computer. I really didn't like that setup, to be honest. I love being here in the living room, hanging out with the dogs. And this is a great solution to that. And we get to play on the big TV and all that. And that sums it up. I mean, that's the whole setup. That's everything I got. I'm curious if you guys have any questions about anything. If you have any questions, just drop them down in the comments. You guys know I reply to comments like scarily fast. I have my notifications on, and sometimes I feel kind of creepy. And I feel like some people might think I'm a bot because I reply to them in like literally a minute. But I love when you guys leave comments. I love when you have questions. And if you have any comments or anything like that, please leave them below. I'll respond. And until next time, thank you.